Yeah.
So we share a love for trampolines. Not many people share this love. I just put the trampoline in the ground, and my guys have been on that, and they're loving it. Talk a little bit about why you love trampoline work with your guys.
The main reason is why I had an ear-to-ear smile when you mentioned that next subject of conversation is it's fun.
Yeah.
And training needs to be fun, especially when you're dealing with athletes that come from a culture that don't train. They play and play and play. Ever since they're small, pick up a basketball at 6 years old, all they do is play. Most high school programs don't have strength and conditioning for their basketball. They get to college, they're one and done. So what is their training age at the by the time we get them?
True.
So now we're in the psychological aspect of how do we get guys to comply and buy in? Easy way to do that, make training fun. So I love introducing the play aspect to training because it immediately gets people involved mentally. It creates motivation, it creates laughter, it creates competitiveness. So the trampoline is an easy way to do that. I don't know anyone that can jump on a trampoline and start rebounding for a little bit and don't start smiling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And that's number one. But obviously, any good performance coach or trainer can think of a slew of reasons why trampoline training would be good for most athletes. I think another one is physiologically, the lymphatic drainage. It has been documented and quoted many times that it is one of the most effective ways to create lymph circulation. Movement and bouncing essentially are the best ways. There's no pump for that. So jumping rope is cool, but it's just not as fun as trampoline.
Right.
Low impact. You can do all types of muscular driven drills with high neural output, doing high knees as fast as you can, zero impact.
Right.
So, the bang for buck in terms of metabolic conditioning, high neural, contract, relax, contract, those types of things really, really can be manipulated well on the trampoline.
Right.
And then I really like doing high eccentric loading from the trampoline aspect of it because it's fun as well as effective. For instance, guys, picture me on the floor, the trampoline's in front of me. These are mini trampolines. And I jump from the floor to the trampoline, rebound off the trampoline, and land back on the floor. And it's just, you can do altitude jumps where you are on a high box and then jump off and stick the landing. Same thing, but it's just not as fun. It's very engaging to jump, and then stick that landing.
It is. And there's a self-organization aspect to it and a self-selection of jump height off the trampoline. If I tell you, hey, you're going to drop off this 36-inch box, there's no self-selection process, but your guys intuitively know what they can handle eccentrically. So they're not going to jump off the trampoline 60 inches and then land on one leg. They know what they can handle. And so they can kind of self-select and push the jump height or the drop height on that. There's some serious eccentric qualities that I think we can build on the trampoline itself as well. If you've ever been double bounce, this is the best way to describe it. If you've ever been jumping and somebody goes to double bounce you, it doesn't matter how much force you produce. It's not about producing force. It's can I stay stiff? That's it. As long as I can stay stiff, because if I don't stay stiff, you have that collapse of the knees. Everybody's felt that before. And there's a lot of qualities that, that shares with like single leg jumping where I'm bringing in all this speed and I'm going to take off. It's less about what I produce and more about how do I stay stiff eccentrically and isometrically to handle all of these forces to then transition vertically. So like a lot of stuff like single leg jumping, it's just how do I transition, horizontally to vertically. And I feel like if I'm doing single leg, like rapid jumps on a trampoline, I'm getting a lot of that where it's really challenging that stiffness through the knee and even through the ankle if you cue heel off the trampoline.
Yeah. So to add to that point, that sparks a really common application I use with the trampoline is if you guys have ever been to a trampoline park and spent, an hour jumping, the next day, generally for me, my abs are sore.
True.
And the reason why that is because I'm consistently, throughout that entire hour of jumping, trying to maintain a rigid spine to maintain good elasticity and be able to jump high, right? So I took that same application and applied it by just front loading with, have the guys on the trampoline and front loading with a heavy Dynamax ball. We've even done 16 kilogram kettlebells where they're trying to maintain that rigid spine as well as rebound. And again, it's the same idea and application. Can your core assist in that spine being upright and rigid?
Yep.
With that load,
Exactly.
trying to pull you down along with the recoil of the springs. And I felt like that really kind of paints the same picture of what you just said in terms of being double jumped and be able to stay stiff.
Right. Can I stay stiff? Yeah. And then there's some other stuff. You have more time in the air, and so you can challenge coordination. You can do stuff with a ball in the air, light medicine ball through the legs, like just different little things that you don't have enough air time on the ground to really work on those qualities. Yeah. So there's a lot there. We